Welcome again to Unmarked Talk Wrestling. Today I will cover the last of the WWE roster with Smackdown. It was announced today that the WWE Draft will take place in April, a few weeks after WrestleMania 25. In a future episode, I will discuss a few moves I think should be made, but for now, let's finish this roster up and we'll start at the top with WWE Champion Edge. Edge is extremely talented and probably one of the best performers on SmackDown. He plays heel very well, and he makes me want to smack him whenever he comes on TV. His in-ring work is technically sound. Although I do miss the old TLC days, I still find Edge exciting to watch. I think he's a good choice for champion on SmackDown, at least until another heel can develop a bit more. Seems like for a while they were pushing Vladimir Kozlov to be the next champion, and I'd say a year or two down the road that's a possibility, but Edge is a great choice to carry the belt for now. Plus, I think he and Jeff Hardy could have some great title matches against one another. I'm not a huge fan of Edge's relationship with Vicky Guerrero, but honestly, she's a major source of heat on SmackDown, and that definitely adds to Edge's heel persona. Good mic skills, great heat with the crowd, and awesome in-ring ability. Edge is absolutely one of the top 3 SmackDown performers and deserves his title. Next up is the U.S. Champion. Shelton Benjamin is a great worker. His in-ring work is flawless, and I think it's a great choice for him to be the U.S. Champion. He's got a tremendous look, and if he can only develop a bit more of a personality, this guy could possibly ascend to the World Champion level. However, that's his weakness. Something about his personality is lacking, and I can't for the life of me assemble the puzzle and decide what exactly it is. I just know when I watch this guy perform, I'm very interested, but as soon as his mouth opens, I feel like changing the channel. Rumor backstage is that WWE Developmental doesn't have much faith in him, and that they are down on his work ethic, although they're giving him a run with the title, so perhaps they're finally getting through to him. I'll watch Shelton wrestle and enjoy it, but he definitely needs to bring a little more bite into his promos. Maurice is a great choice for the Divas Champion, although I have to say that Divas title belt is pretty friggin' ugly. In-ring, she's about as sound as a diva can be. Not on the level of Beth Phoenix, but next to Natalya, she's one of the best on SmackDown. I love her look, I love her style, and I love her attitude. As I've said before, I'm not too big on the divas themselves, but Maurice keeps it interesting. Seeing where she goes with the title should be pretty entertaining, even though there's not a lot of talent for her to clash with, especially with her being a heel. Now that they've turned Michelle McCool heel, who does that leave for her to have a nice heel babyface feud with? Either way, I look forward to seeing what happens with her, and I think there's a lot of potential in her. Finally, we'll close out the championship rounds with the tag champions, Carlito and Primo. Carlito and Primo are very talented, definitely the best tag team they have going on SmackDown, but once again, as with Raw, WWE doesn't seem to care much about the tag team division, and these guys are suffering from that. The tag team matches become mid-card when a title match should be higher up the ladder. Pardon this little rant, but I miss the old days, when being a tag team meant something. Heart Foundation, Quebecers, Rockers, Demolition, Team 3D. It's really a shame. There's so much potential here. These guys are extremely skilled, and together they make one hell of an interesting match. But unless new talent rises up, and WWE start caring about the tag team division again, Carlito and Primo are going to be stuck right where they are. Moving on to the rest of the roster, we've got the Big Show. The Big Show really is impressive for a big man. However, he seems to fluctuate between championship contention and seemingly pointless feuds, although his feud with The Undertaker was pretty impressive. Lately, they've had this interesting little thing back and forth between he and Edge, although I don't see it leading anywhere. Big Show is involved in the Elimination Chamber, but he and Undertaker will probably end up just canceling each other out. I'm a little bored with him, honestly. He's a funny guy. I've seen him on talk shows, and he always makes me laugh, so I wish his real personality could come through a little bit more. However, his whole knockout punch is an interesting change, and could provide some sweet match finishes. I love seeing him drop CM Punk with the knockout punch at the Royal Rumble. All in all, he seems to be stuck just beneath the top right now, and I don't see him as a major title contender, but anything can change. Hopefully, for his sake, something will. Moving on, we've got a pair of divas. I don't have too much to say about the Bella Twins. I don't find their work very impressive. I don't find their gimmick very interesting. Really just two more good-looking women for the men to drool over but not be entertained by. These two probably executed the twin reveal worse than ever before in WWE history. There have been some great twin storylines which have proven really entertaining. The two which stick out most to me are the Hebner storyline with the heel referee screwing Hulk Hogan, and the Doink the Clown having multiple Doinks wrestle for him, especially in his fight with Crush at WrestleMania 9. But these are just two more divas who got moved up to the top show, more based on their look than on their talent. Perhaps if WWE trained them harder before pushing them, it wouldn't be so bad. So the blame can't fall completely on their shoulders, but I consider them to be the two worst divas on the SmackDown roster. What the hell happened to Chavo? He was never the best wrestler in my opinion, or the most interesting to watch, but now he's pretty much just a joke, an errand boy for Vicky. Randomly he comes out to help Edge with a match, but usually that results in him getting his ass kicked. Obviously WWE is showing you what they think about him when the only time we see him around is to put someone over when they're doing their climb to the top. He has talent, he has ability, but he simply isn't being used properly. It's really a shame to see him being used so poorly when he carries the last name of Guerrero. Jesse and Festus are pretty funny. They provide excellent comic relief, but that's about it. Festus have one of the oddest looks I've ever seen, and Jesse's just kind of a goofball. However, their in-ring work is good, and I think they could find themselves a solid position as probably high-paid jobbers. I think that's about as good as they're ever going to get. The whole idea of Festus and the ring bell was funny at first, but it's getting a little old now. I don't see these guys really going anywhere. It's kind of a tag team version of what they use Santino for on Raw. Hurricane Helms. Maybe I'm a little old school, but I used to love this guy when he was the goofy comic hero, the Hurricane. Now that he's got a more serious personality, I find him slightly less interesting. His in-ring work is good, his style is somewhat unique, but he's yet another WWE talent that's just missing something. I had hoped that his opinion on the Matt Hardy situation would have built into something bigger, but even that seems to have fizzled out for now. However, at his current position, this is someone I could see becoming a real contender for the U.S. title. A nice feud with Shelton would work out and possibly help them both. If not, then he's probably just going to bounce around from pointless feud to pointless feud until his contract runs out. Jeff Hardy used to be a big-time favorite of mine. I was really excited to see him win the WWE Championship, but I honestly have to admit, as much as I like watching him, he's not a champion. He can't carry that belt for a prolonged period of time. There's something about him where I find him as a champion to be too unbelievable. It's not a lack of talent or ability. Lord knows he has plenty of those. It's something in his personality. He's pretty bland on the mic. He doesn't have that swagger, that strut that a champion has. I really hope they build up his feud with his brother Matt. If I were running the show, it would be Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy in either a steel cage or a Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania 25. That would be something fantastic to see. All in all, Jeff is one of the best performers on SmackDown and gets one of the biggest pops from the crowd. He's going to be around for as long as he wants to be, assuming he doesn't fail the wellness program again. What can you really say about a wrestler who goes by the name Jimmy Wang Yang? He's funny, sometimes he pulls off a really cool move or two, but he's little less than a glorified jobber for squash matches. He's not going anywhere, he's never climbing the ladder, and he's never going to be a big-time player. I hate to be so negative, but I just don't see it any other way. I could say the same thing about Kung Fu Naki, so I might as well kill two birds with one stone on this one. Kizarny. Seriously, who the fuck is coming up with these gimmicks? Kizarny's like Doink the Clown on crack. This Carney talking in his promos is annoying as hell, and he already seems to have come and gone. He appeared on SmackDown more in promos than he did when he was actually in the ring. He's still on the roster, but I wouldn't be surprised if we never see this guy again, or when we do, he's just another jobber. Kizarny Sizucks. Maria is probably the cutest of all the SmackDown divas, but in the ring there isn't a whole lot to admire. Her work is weak and sloppy. Frequently she misses contact with her hits, or there's so little contact that when her competitor sells, it looks really silly. She's great on the mic, she's got a super sweet personality, but I just don't think she's a wrestler. Rumor has it that she's looking to expand her career and get into more movies and television. I highly doubt that she's going to remain a diva for a long period of time, and I think the first offer she gets to go Hollywood, she's going to jump at it. Michelle McCool is the Kelly Kelly of SmackDown. Honestly, sometimes I can't tell the difference between the two of them. She's got a great look, a gorgeous body, and terrible work. Even the fans are starting to get sick of her, which I think has been the inspiration for her heel turn. The woman gets bashed so hard by the fans that she writes about it in her blog on the WWE Universe. Now she's already got so much heat, being a heel is just a natural transition. If that doesn't work, and her in-ring ability doesn't pick up, it's ultimately going to be her undoing, and we're not going to see her for a long time.